going to go through I've seen this called a fancy Shin Spin. So that's what we'll call it today, fancy Shin Spin, which is just a really, really lovely way to get into a spinning pole combo. So it's just a nice way to start it. You can go from here into a climb, or you could go into an invert, or lots of moves. Today what we're going to do is get into the Shin Spin, and then we're just going to figure out how to pull out of that into a sit, and then of course you can get creative and go into any move from there. So with your Shin Spin, it is your shin that is pushing against the pole. It is a push, and you do need it for sure, but I find personally that I'm working just through my grip strength of my hands most of all in this spin. This is more of a brace, kind of like when you do a T-Rex or a forearm, how you're pushing. It's similar to that feeling, but of course in your shin. This move is definitely one of those moves that's a little bit easier in shoes. So if you do have shoes, you definitely give it a try. The grippy ones, of course, because the grip ones mean you can step up onto the pole just a little bit easier. But we're doing it in bare feet, so we have to work a little bit harder. When you're first doing it, if you really, really need to flex, you can, but try not to get into that habit because, of course, flexing your foot is going to break the line of the move. So if you need to do that the first few times just to get used to it, go ahead, but just be really aware of it so that you can break that habit and actually point and push not just your shin, but the front of your ankle and foot into the pole as well. So this is the sort of grip that we want. So I find that trying to bring your knee slightly to one side, and then you want your big toe slightly on the other side, and what that does is it just sets up the pole nicely down your calf and down the front of the foot and ankle. So that's the grip point for the shin. Now, whichever leg you're going to hook onto the pole to get started, or sorry, I should say press against the pole, whichever shin, you want the same hand under the knee and on the pole. So obviously, it's going to depend on how tall you are and also your hip flexor flexibility as well, as to how high you can set this leg to start with. So when you're first doing it, you will find that, if I can face this way, you'll find that when you grab the pole and then you set your leg, when you're pushing your knee in, you're going to be pushing on your own hand, which is exactly what you want to do. You want to push into that hand. And then as you step up onto the pole, this will shift just a little bit, and you'll probably find some pole there with the inside of the knee. But don't worry too much about that, as long as you're engaging and squeezing into either your hand, or if you're finding the pole, you will get that grip point. That it's all about the push brace from the shin that we want. And then, as I said earlier, very much about your hand grip as well. So same hand is going to go underneath the knee. Now, the higher you set your hand and knee as well, the more you have to push up or push and pull up onto the pole. So when you're first doing it, I definitely recommend just starting a little bit lower just so you can get used to it. And this hand obviously gripping onto the pole. This hand is definitely working. You want to pull down onto the pole, not onto the pole. You want to grab the pole up high and pull it down at the same time that you're stepping up onto the pole to get into that move. So it's very much a push-pull and a brace of the shin as well. So same hand goes under, and we just want a true grip with the thumb up, both hands. So here, push, and here. So remember, as we push up, make sure that you have a nice strong grip here, because you don't want to, you're going to feel a little bit of pressure in your wrist, but the more you use your shin and push and lift up onto the pole, the less you will push into your wrist. So your wrist is also going to brace, but struggling with my words today. Your wrist is also going to brace, but we don't want to push down into the wrist. We actually want to push up. So we want to think about lifting our energy up as we do this, stepping up onto the pole. It is a lifted move rather than resting on the wrist. So strong grip, strong push here. And we're going to lift up over that wrist so that we're not pushing down on it. So the two ways to do that, of course, as we said, is energy up, step up onto the pole. But the other way, the other thing to focus on as well, other than our grip pulling and pushing, is our back leg. Think about leaning into the bent leg, or into this arm. So this is the way we're going to spin, towards that arm and leg. So to get that momentum, it's actually going to be our back leg that pushes off the ground and then kicks back towards our head. So the more flexible you are in your back, or the more lower back extension and hip flexor mobility that you have, the more spectacular this will look. So please go as much as you can. Make sure that you're nice and warm, of course, in your spine, in your back muscles, and also in your butt and your hips, because we don't want any over squeezing injuries or cramps. But there's a lot of butt squeeze to lift up. And we want to think, whenever we create an attitude with our back leg, we want to think about keeping the knee up as well as the toes. So we don't want this, we want this. So there's quite a lot of work through the back extensors, squeezing your bum, lifting your knee, and then of course pulling back, head and toes reaching towards each other. That's going to create that beautiful shape. I don't have great lower back mobility, and it still looks pretty good even if you don't have, a lot of flexibility there. So don't worry if you don't have a lot of mobility there. It's still going to look wonderful. And as you get more comfortable with it, the more spin you can put on it as well, which also looks beautiful. But for now, because it's the first time we're going to try it, we're going to go a little bit slower on the spin, and we're going to really concentrate on pushing, bracing through the shin, pulling down with the top hand, and then using our back leg to create that little bit of momentum, and also, of course, the shape as well. So let's put all of that together and give that a try. So same hand is going to go underneath the knee, set it in true grip with the thumb up, and bring this leg across. Really does help to try to get your big toe to the other side of the pole, and remember pushing the ankle and the front of the foot in. So pulling down to that top hand, same leg as the top hand is going to kick back, and then we're going to turn away and then take the toes towards your head. And the more you arch back, the more beautiful the move. To get out of this, we're pulling with the top hand. Bring that top leg forward, and then we can release that bottom hand. Now, I find that really important, because if you don't pull, give an extra pull harder with the top hand, that's when you tend to start to slide down a little bit and really push on your wrist. So we really want to avoid that. We want to get all pressure off the wrist as fast as we can. So as you are in your attitude position here, pull down harder on the pole. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to lift up slightly so that you can release your hand. And the other thing that we do is the leg that is in attitude, bring it forward and put your thigh on the pole. That's another grip point. And then you should be able to release your hand as you start to tip your body, pull down using the grip of your thigh. We can get that bottom hand out from underneath the knee. So let's try that again, and we'll put all of those things into practice as well as the exit. So same hand under the knee, thumb goes up, wrap this leg. Remember, we want to push in as much as we can with the front of the foot and the ankle. Pull down on the top hand. Now back leg is going to sweep back. Turn your chest away, push up so you're pushing your shin into the pole. Now toes and head reaching for each other, squeezing your bum. Now extra pull down with the top hand, bring the top thigh in, release that hand, and you're on the pole. And then from there, you can swap hands, go into a straddle, you can adjust your grip and push back. Play with that as much as you want. So let's try that one more time. And we're going to try giving it a little bit more spin, because that just creates that beautiful shape as we're spinning. So when you push up, yes, you're turning your chest out. So you kind of want to think about being parallel to the floor as much as you can. And again, that's what creates the beautiful shape. And if you're struggling to bring your toes towards your knee, a good way to think about that is that mobility, a lot of that mobility is actually coming from the hip flexor. So rather than just trying to do this, think about opening the back of your knee slightly, or more, opening through the back of the knee, and then here is where you want to lift. So squeeze here, and then lifting up here. And even if you don't have great back flexibility, that will still make the shape look even more beautiful. Rather than doing this, open through the back of the knee, squeeze and lift, so that the lengthening is actually coming through the quad and through the hip flexor. So we'll try and add a little bit more spin to it this time, which is going to be created from the outside leg, of course. So as you step up, you need to push off harder to create that spin. And then to finesse this move, so when you are feeling like you're pretty comfortable with it, you want to concentrate on those fine little details that are just going to keep the grace of the move the whole time. So with this one, we've talked a lot about the shape. It goes without saying, really, keeping your ankles long and your toes pointed. But with this one, because we want to keep it smooth, and it's quite a lot of work for us, we really need to focus on the entry and the exit, because that's what's going to keep the whole thing looking beautiful. So even though we're going to give it a little bit more push this time, we still want to take our time. Take your time as you push, lift, turn, and pull. And then while you're in this position, hold it. Hold it there for at least 2 to 3 rotations, because it is really beautiful. It's a lot of work to do that, but we want to try working up to that if you can. So just holding in that position, a little bit of extra extension through your neck, as long as you're warm, of course. So that means a little bit more through your neck here is also going to add to the beautiful shape that you're creating while you're spinning. And then we want to, of course, think about our exit. So we're putting all of those things into play that we talked about, which is extra pull, so lifting up, using the back leg to come forward. Think about when you bring that leg, think about unfolding. So you want to bring the thigh and then extend to the toes. And then as you pull up, softly release that hand. So as always, in order to keep things graceful, it's actually all about strength. And it's also about not rushing. So we're going to pull down with the top hand. We're going to bring that leg forward, keep pulling with the top hand, make contact, and then release that hand. And then if you want to, you can go into another move from there. So let's put it all together. There's a lot to think about. So same hand goes underneath. Start on your tippy toes. It's always easier to engage when you're starting on your tippy toes. It always looks nicer as well. So we're going to set that leg, pushing with this foot. Now to give it a little bit more kick, it's the back leg or the outside leg that's going to do that. So a little bit more push off the floor. 3, 2, 1, go. And a little bit more extension through the neck. Hold. Squeeze your bum, hold. Now to get out, we're going to pull down harder, slowly unfold that leg, keep pulling to release the hand. And that is your fancy shin spin.